good morning everybody. So today we are going to do psychology, and in psychology we were discussing chapter number 10, in which we spoke about marriage. Okay, and and we also spoke about marriage and happiness, and we found out that married people are more satisfied and are more their well-being levels are more higher compared to people who are unmarried in life. So that is what we have found out from the study, and today we will be discussing the benefits of marriage that are there. Now the question comes to our mind that which factors are responsible for strong relationship between marriage and happiness? Are they beneficial effects of marriage? Then those who are getting married are going to be happy. Now the question is that what are the factors that lead to successful marriage, or what are the factors that leads to satisfied marriage? Okay, what are the benefits of marriage? Why do people get married? Why are people happy in marriage? What factor leads to happiness in marriage? These are things that we are going to discuss. Arguments for the benefits of marriage may begin with Bumstead and Larry's 1955 argument. They argue that human beings have a basic need to belong. Countless studies revealed by these and the other authors show the importance of close, supportive and a stable relationship to people's physical and emotional well-being. So there are arguments, there are discussions that are being held on marriage and satisfaction. So there were these two psychologists. One's name was Baumeister and another one was Leary's. They did a study and they found out that that human beings have a need to belong. Need to belong, that means that I want to be loved, I want to be taken care of. All of us have that need, right? Like I told you in class the other day that during the time period of coronavirus, during the time period of COVID, what did people miss the most? The human touch. Okay, the feeling of care, somebody asking them how are you, somebody hugging them, somebody holding their hand. That is what people missed the most, right? So similarly, the same thing is over here. We all have a need to belong. Okay, but need to be belong means need to be taken care of, need to be loved. All these are the basic needs, and human beings get married in order to satisfy this need to belong, which is good for their physical self and for their emotional self. So it's a very, very important. Which one? The need to belong. People consistently rank close relationship. People consistently rank close relationship among their top life goals. So when people asked them further and asked them that what is the most important goal in your life, what is the most important aim in your life, people replied that they want to make sure that they have close and stable relations with other people. Okay, that is what people really wanted, that is what people really required. Given that marriage is one major vehicle for fulfillment of these basic needs, and so married people would report higher level of well-being and happiness. So marriage is one way through which you can achieve closeness, through which you can achieve stable relationship, through which your care, your love, all these needs can be satisfied. So that is the reason why people get married, and that is the reason why people rank higher on the benefits of marriage, on the fact that they are happy in marriage. Marriage has a potential to provide companionship, intimacy, love, affection and social support at time of crisis. Crisis meaning whenever you are going through problem or anything. Marriage is one such factor that provides you with companionship. Companionship meaning the feeling of having a partner. Okay, intimacy, that is closeness, love, affection, showing your emotions, and social support at the time of problems. The roles of a spouse and a parent may also provide opportunities for personal growth and development of new competency that increases self-esteem and satisfaction. So when you are a spouse, that is spouse meaning a husband or a wife. Okay, so when you are a spouse or when you are a parent, what happens is you have added responsibility, right? When you have a spouse, when you are a spouse, when you are a parent, you have a added responsibility. When you are able to meet those responsibilities properly, your self esteem, that is your respect for yourself, will grow. You will discover that you are capable of so many things, and you will experience happiness, right? Like, let's say if I am a parent and I didn't know that I was so good at taking care of children, and then I discovered that, so automatically what will I think of myself? That, oh, I'm a good mother, so my self esteem, my self respect will grow. Marriage and happiness relationship is found across widely diverse cultures, independent whether researchers ask about marriage quality or not. So what they're trying to say is that marriage, what is marriage, and why do people, not why do people get married, but the whole concept of marriage is different in different cultures. Okay, people get married for, our culture tells us why do we need to get married. That is one important thing. The sorry the significant drop in well-being when marriage ends due to death, divorce, or separation provides further evidence for the benefits of marriage. So your satisfaction level or your well-being level drops down or falls down when your partner either dies, either it's divorce, or either you're separated. Okay, then your satisfaction level for marriage falls down automatically, yet obviously. The end of marriage may mean the loss of intimacy, companionship, and emotional support, and decreased financial resources. When a marriage ends for whatever reason, then your closeness, your friendship, your companionship, all these, your emotional support, all this will fall down. Even your finances will fall down. Why? Because earlier your partner used to help you out with money. Now when your partner is gone, so you have to bear all the expenses by yourself of everyday life. The benefits of marriage are further revealed in terms of higher level of emotional distress and mental illness found among people who are unmarried and living alone with few friends or confidants. So obviously the thing is that the main reason why people get married is also because it provides you with emotional support, it provides you with emotional love. When, let's say, that marriage ended, or let's say when people are unmarried, they are more prone to getting mental disorders that are related to emotions. Why? Because they are unmarried, or either they are staying with friends, or they are staying with somebody, okay, but they are not married, they are unmarried, or their partner died, okay, after marriage. Then those people experience emotional mental disorders more compared to those people who are married. In contrast, married people have a lower risk of experiencing depression, loneliness, and physical or mental health problems, and live longer than individuals who are widowed, separate, or divorced. So what they are trying to say is that in contrast, married people who are there, they don't experience depression, they don't experience, or they experience very less amount of depression, loneliness, okay, loneliness એટલે એકલું એકલું લાગવું, okay, and their physical and mental health is good compared to those people who are unmarried. And married people tend to live longer than compared to people who are unmarried or separated or divorced or are widowed. Overall, married people generally enjoy better physical and mental health than unmarried people, obviously. So married people, they have a better physical health, they have a better emotional health compared to those people who are unmarried. Marriage may also help overcome problems in their life. So marriage also helps you to overcome a lot of problems that you're facing in your life, because you have a partner to share to, and sometimes your partner also helps you to solve these problems. A 7-year study of over 800 men and women found decrease in the rates of depression and alcoholism among those who remained single. But positive psychologists agree to one thing, that happy marriage life is required for well-being. So there was a study that was conducted on 800 men and women, and they found out that people who are married, okay, they suffer less depression, and they tend to consume less alcohol. Because what is one reason why people drink a lot of alcohol is because they don't have a partner to share things with. That is the reason why. Okay, So, a positive psychologists have said that happy marriage life is required for well-being. So, living a satisfaction, if you want to live a satisfactory life, you have to be married. That's what it says. So, Myers put in terms, individual happiness, a bad marriage is worse than no marriage. So, what they're trying to say that it's okay if you have a bad marriage, but it's still having a bad marriage is still better than no marriage at all. That is what the saying is. But I don't agree with this saying, bad marriage is better than no marriage at all. Okay, but anyways. Happiness and culture. Now we spoke about happiness and marriage. Now we are going to talk about happiness and culture. Because societies are complex and multidimensional, it gets difficult to specify the definition of the term culture. So we live in a society that has so many areas, that have so many dimensions, and that is the reason why it becomes very, very difficult for us to define what exactly is culture. However, culture generally refers to social roles, norms, values, and practices that are shared by social group or societies and are transmitted from one generation to another generation. So what is culture? Culture is a collection of norms, meaning your rules and regulations. It's a collection of social roles. Roles is that what role should you play according to your position in the society, different values and different practices that one group follows, and that group then gives that information to other generation or teaches that things to other generation, then that is called as culture. Culture differences can be found in groups, both large and small. So there are cultural differences that are there in groups. Whether it's a big group or a small group, we do see that people are culturally different. Like if you see, you sit in your own classroom and you see there are people have different types of culture. Even if it's just 12 standard classroom, Darbar nu culture alag ase, Muslims nu culture alag ase, Hindu nu culture alag ase, Jains nu culture alag ase. So even if it's a small group or even if it's a large group, you do find cultural differences in both the side. Commonalities in national heritage, language, religion, ethnicity, race, age, gender, geographical location, and historical events are among many factors that contribute towards cultural differences among the nation. So there are a lot of things that add to cultural differences in our country or in other parts of the world. One is what type of language tells us about the culture, religion tells us about the culture, ethnicity એટલે આપણે ક્યાંથી આવ્યા છીએ. Okay, so ethnicity tells us about the culture, race, age, gender, where do we live, okay, different events that have happened. All these things define the culture we are born and brought up in. According to Kiatman and Marcus, growing up in a particular culture leads to internalization of shared ways of understanding of the world. So let's say that you are grown up in a particular culture. Okay, so when you are born and brought up in a particular culture, you internalize એટલે you learn on how to see the world that is around you. The culture teaches us on how to see the world, on what to and how to make decision on, and you know, it also tells us what is right, what is wrong. So that is what is culture. So when you are born and brought up in a particular culture, when you are raised in a particular culture, then you internalize or you learn on how to see the world that is around you. Parents, schools, peers, and media instruct children in ways of their culture. So our parents, the school we go to, our friend circles, all these things, they tell us about, they teach us about our culture, they teach us about what our culture is, how to take decisions with regard to culture. Initially, child is a part of attitude, norms and values seen in the people of their culture and then get influenced by the way people think, act and feel. So, you know, when a child is born, okay, that child becomes a part of, he sees or he becomes a part of different people's attitude. He comes to know about rules and regulations. He comes to know about the values that are there in people's life. So all these things are is what the child sees, and slowly the child does get affected by how are people acting and feeling. Culture influence our goals and values and contributes to how we think about what is desirable and undesirable, individual characteristics and behavior, and set of norms, expectation concerning meaning of achievement in successful life. So our culture tells us what we can do, what we cannot do, what career we should take, what career we should not take. All these things our culture teaches us. Our culture actually tells us, if you are a girl, you can only do this career. If you are a boy, you can only do this careers. So as a matter of fact, what is culture? Culture also tells us what should be what is desirable, what is undesirable, what is career you can take, what career you cannot take, and how to follow expectations of the society. Expectations meaning society has certain expectations from us. When we are a girl, the society expects us to be in a certain way. If you are a boy, the society expects you to be in a different way. So there are expectations that are there in the society. So you have to meet these expectations of the society in order to make sure that you are living a healthy and a successful life. For positive psychologists, it is important to understand how culture shapes people's ideas about the meaning of happiness and how to achieve it. So, positive psychologists, they try to understand culture, and they try to also understand how culture shapes different people, how culture makes people happy. Kitayamana and Marcus states two type of culture differences, and individualistic and collectivistic individual culture. So these two psychologists said that culture are of two type, individualistic and collectivist. Individualistic culture is that culture in which I only think about myself. Okay, that I should be happy, I should have a good house, I should have this, I should lead a successful life. So that is more individualistic concept. Okay, and that concept is mainly found in USA and UK. Okay, that is your Western culture. Collectivistic culture is what you do things to make other people happy, to make your parents happy, and all that. So that is more of a concept that is there in India. Okay, so that is more Eastern culture concept. So there are two types of how culture is influenced on happiness. One is individualistic and the other one is collectivist. When you say I am a cricketer, I am an intelligent girl, and I am shy, then you give your personal identity. So when I ask you who are you, so you say I'm a cricketer, I'm a girl, okay, I'm intelligent, I am shy. Then that is you are defining yourself. Okay, while sentences like I am a Gujarati, I am the only child of my parents, I belong to a certain class of the society describes your social identity. When you say that I am a Gujarati, or I am the only child of my parents, or I am a middle class girl, then you are talking about your identity in the society. That is your social identity. The culture of America and Europe is Western individualistic culture, while India and other Asian countries is more collectivistic culture. Now we will talk about how we'll talk about Western culture and happiness. Okay, being happy, having a positive attitude, and feeling good about the self are the central values values in America. So when you go to America, you find that people they concentrate on themselves. People concentrate on making, or on feeling good about themselves. Okay, so that is what the whole concept is about. That is feeling good about yourself, and you have to put yourself in the center. That is what is the main highlight or the focus of America. American society that offers abundant opportunity and considerable individual freedom. These people are encouraged to make life choices based on what makes them happy and satisfied. So when you go to American society, they focus more on happiness that every individual experiences, and they have given lot of freedom to individual. So if you want to open a shop or anything, there the rules and regulations are not that strict. So America focuses on individual freedom, and that is why people tend to work on making themselves happy. People tend to work on making themselves feel satisfied. That is what their goal is in life. when what makes Americans happy is really influenced by culture's individualistic and model of self. So what makes American happy is mainly is highly influenced on their culture of individualism, that is focusing on themselves. That is what it is based on. Subjective well-being of America is an individual's subjective judgment about his or her own life. So when we talk about well-being and satisfaction in America, what do they consider? How is one individual, how is one person happy? That is what they concentrate on, that is what they think on what makes them happy. Okay, Americans believe that what makes me happy may not make you happy, because happiness is highly individualized. So what do Americans think? What makes me happy is not necessarily what makes you happy. Okay, so that is why happiness or satisfaction is subjective. Subjective meaning changes from person to person. Okay, let's say drawing makes me happy, but drawing won't make you happy. Singing would make you happy. So happiness is very, very subjective. That's what Americans say. Extensive research review permit a generalized characterization of American style of happiness. From an early age, American children seem to be taught two culturally defined lessons. First, happiness and feeling good about you are important goals and valid criteria for making choices. So they have done lot of research on America. What do Americans think about happiness? And based on this, they have said that American children are taught two things. One thing is that they should make their goals, they should make their choices on those things which make them happy. Okay, that's what the American children are taught. What are they taught? Do things that make you happy. Choose a career which makes you happy. Make choices in your life that makes you happy. That's what the American children are taught. This is people should be happy, and what making a decision, it is important to consider the effect of one happiness and satisfaction. So whenever you're making any decision, whenever you're making any choice, you should focus on your happiness and on your level of satisfaction. So that is your one criteria. Secondly, happiness results from finding out what you are in terms of your individual identity and pursuing those activities to express the self-defining characteristics. So secondly, what they have said is that what identity you have as an individual is very important for your happiness. Like, how do I identify myself? How I identify myself as a teacher. You identify yourself as a dancer. So how do you identify yourself? That is very, very important. Let's say I identify myself as a teacher. Then I should take up those activities that could, make my identity stronger. That's what it's saying. So you should identify what is your identity. You should know what your identity is, and then you should work towards making sure that you make your identity stronger, and you should take up those activities that makes your identity stronger. American culture puts a stress on recognition of one's ability and personality characteristics to develop them. So what does the American culture puts the stress on? What are your abilities and what are your personalities, and how should you develop your personality? Children are encouraged to develop distinctive sense of self. They can feel good about and then follow. They are largely independent of the influence of the others. Happiness results from being true to yourself. So basically, what do they work on? They work on developing of yourself and working on your happiness. And they do not, usually Americans do not get influenced by other people. They do not get influenced by the choices other people make. Okay, they work on their choices and their decisions. So I will stop here for today. Tomorrow we will talk about Eastern culture and happiness. Sorry, we will talk on 15th. Tomorrow I'll be doing sociology. Thank you.